In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, National Assembly deputies discuss the resolution of voters' petitions. Later on, foreign investors optimistic about Vietnam's investment environment. And in our world news, U.S. announces details on higher China tariffs.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lin Lei with the latest updates. Now, the National Assembly has discussed the results of monitoring the resolution of voters' petitions sent to the 6th plenary session held on Thursday. More to follow.
There were 2,216 petitions sent by voters to the 6th session that were compiled and transferred to the competent authorities for resolution. To date, 2,210, or 99.7% of the petitions have been resolved and received responses.
The petitions have been resolved with a high response rate from voters. This result demonstrates the great efforts and determination of the National Assembly Standing Committee, the government, ministries, branches and agencies.
National Assembly deputies also asked ministries and branches to pay attention to resolving voters' petitions, especially for long-standing issues as well as new issues that have arisen.
Voters of Lai Châu province and some other localities also propose a number of forest protection and conservation policies. The current support level is very low and people are not interested in implementing it. It is recommended that this matter be reviewed and be evaluated.
Voters are very concerned about the problem of online fraud. Voters recognized and appreciated the previous efforts of the authorities. However, voters wanted the Ministry of Information and Communications to implement stronger solutions in reviewing and handling trash SIM cards.
Appreciating the National Assembly discussions on resolving voters' petitions at the conference hall, deputies also proposed solutions to improve the efficiencies of this work.
The results contribute to increasing openness and transparency. I propose the National Assembly and the government research and soon develop software for a data system to receive, resolve, and respond to voters' petitions, connecting from centralized to local levels.
Also, at the discussion session, government members explained and clarified a number of issues raised by National Assembly deputies.
State President Tô Lâm on Thursday offered incense to commemorate President Ho Chi Minh in the President Ho Chi Minh Monument at the Presidential Palace. Also at the Presidential Palace, State President Tô Lâm had a working session with Vice State President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân, head of the State President's Office, and met with leaders, officials, civil servants, public employees, and workers of the office. State President Tô Lâm affirmed that the Vice State President, through his terms, has made great efforts to fully and effectively carry out his duties according to the provisions of the Constitution. The results of the Vice State President's work through the terms of office have made an important contribution to the entire party, the people and the army in promoting the patriotic tradition, will and strength of great national unity, which has promoted and synchronized the đổi mới or renewal process. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính chaired a meeting to accelerate the progress of the 500 kilovolts Circuit 3 line construction from Quảng Trạch to Phố Nối and to ensure electricity supplies in 2024. He wants the project completed and running by June 30th this year. So far, the project has completed the 4 major tasks of site clearance, foundation construction, columns, and wire pulling. He stressed this was a crucial national and key project with an important role in national energy security, especially for the northern region. The 515-kilometer line passes through 211 communes and wards in 43 districts of 9 provinces, including Quảng Bình, Hà Tĩnh, Nghệ An, Thanh Hóa, Ninh Bình, Nam Định, Thái Bình, Hải Dương, and Hưng Yên. The total investment is about $899 million. The project aims to reduce the risk of overloading for the existing 500 kilovolts lines, especially when transmitting high capacity via the north-central interface at times when hydroelectric power plants generate low power, ensuring electricity supply for the region in the years to come. The meeting with Jong Sung-yoon, Vice Chairperson and Secretary General of South Korea's Anti-Corruption and Civil Rights Commission on Thursday morning, Politburo member Phang Ding-chak, Secretary of the Party's Central Committee and Head of the Commission for Internal Affairs, emphasized that the cooperation between the two agencies in recent times in the concretization and confirmation of the strong commitment of both countries in improving the effectiveness of anti-corruption measures. South Korea's experiences have been researched, selected, and proposed by the Commission for Internal Affairs to be applied in accordance with Vietnam's reality. Politburo member Phang Ding-chak believes that in the future, the relationship between the two agencies will have a new, dynamic, and effective development, contributing to promoting the comprehensive strategic partnership between Vietnam and South Korea. Also at the meeting, the two sides agreed to extend the Memorandum of Understanding for the period of 2024 to 2026. During a business trip to Japan, Deputy Prime Minister Lee Min-kai attended the Asia Future Forum 2024 with the theme, Asia's Leadership Role in an Uncertain World in Japan. The Deputy Prime Minister proposed that Asia needs to ensure a peaceful and stable environment, respect the United Nations Charter and international law, and that benefits of free trade and investment are distributed widely and equitably. Also of importance are the values of international cooperation, multilateralism, a global and a comprehensive approach in solving common challenges. Partners in the region need to continue to improve adaptive capacity, resilience, and resource use efficiency to promote new growth drivers in the green economy, digital economy, and promote business cooperation, people-to-people exchange, cultural exchange, and tourism. The Vietnamese government will always help investors to overcome challenges and develop together quickly and sustainably. Based on the relationship between Vietnam and Japan, the Deputy Prime Minister proposed that the two countries' business communities promote economic links, cooperate to ensure economic security, and build stable supply chains. As of the end of April, Vietnam had nearly 1,000 new projects granted foreign investment registration certificates, an increase of nearly 29% in the number of projects and an increase of more than 73% in capital over the same period last year. This shows that Vietnam continues to be an attractive destination for foreign investors.
Infrastructure is constantly being expanded, human resources are guaranteed, and the government always listens and supports. These are the reasons why this South Korean semiconductor manufacturing enterprise has chosen to expand production and business in Vietnam with 2 factories, one in Bắc Ninh province and another in Bắc Giang province.
The biggest advantage is that local governments are always listening to businesses. Administrative procedures are getting faster and better.
As for more than 1,400 European businesses in Vietnam, the new survey showed positive comments from more than 2/3 of businesses about the long-term prospects for the next 5 years in Vietnam. The number of businesses planning to cut spending has also decreased, currently only 15% compared to 23% previously.
We see a very strong endorsement that over 50% of businesses highly recommend Vietnam as a leading investment location to their peers, to other FDIs coming from Europe. And we also see a very positive business outlook. If we speak in numbers, we see that 40% plan a workforce expansion, so supporting additional job creation in Vietnam.
Vietnam's bamboo diplomacy policy has created confidence in business stability for FDI enterprises that have entered or plan to enter Vietnam. Recent changes will bring improvements in state management, contributing to stability, Vietnam's economic growth, and solidifying confidence for foreign investors.
Over time, Vietnam has not only continued to affirm itself as a potential destination for investment capital flows in the high-tech sector, but also investment capital flows in traditional industries such as textiles, footwear, and real estate, which are also recording improvements. This is an important foundation to promote exports and Vietnam's economic growth in the coming time.
The robust growth in exports recently was majorly attributed to the promotion of cross-border trade. In recent years, the export value of goods has been growing consistently in the southwest border provinces. In An Giang province, where two international border gates, Tịnh Biên and Vĩnh Sương, are situated, customs clearance is being sped up to support businesses exporting products to other markets in the region.
Since the merging of Vĩnh Sương International Border Gates Road and Waterway, transporting goods back and forth has become more convenient, a welcome improvement for drivers like Thanh.
Since my goods have all the paperwork, the process is very quick and convenient.
We tried to maintain an easy clearance flow and actively guide businesses in declaring their goods so the vehicles could be cleared quickly.
An Giang has approved investment policies for 168 projects with a total capital of nearly $1.18 billion. The province also plans to attract investment and promote the use of border retail systems.
We want to develop a large-scale retail area at the border to put all export goods in the center for more effective sales.
We want to attract more retailers to boost activities in cross-border trade, as well as the service and tourism industry in the border area.
Exports across the An Giang border amounted to only tens of millions of dollars in 1983, but now this number has skyrocketed to more than $2.4 billion. This explosion in trade has created many jobs and significantly improved the lives of locals in the area.
Coming up next on VTV News. The vitality of brick houses amid the dry season. And later on, village elders inspire young generations to preserve local ethnic culture. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now on Thursday morning at the Iranian Embassy in Vietnam, Deputy Prime Minister Trần Lưu Quang and Vice Chairman of the National Assembly Trần Quang Phương visited and sent condolences for the deaths of Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi, Iran's Minister of Foreign Affairs Hossein Amir Abdollahian, and other senior officials in a recent helicopter crash. In the condolence book on behalf of the government, National Assembly and people of Vietnam, Deputy Prime Minister Trần Lưu Quang and Vice Chairman of the National Assembly Trần Quang Phương sent their deepest condolences to the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, the government, people of Iran, and the families of President Ebrahim Raisi, Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian, and the other victims of the accident. Vietnam hopes that the state and people of Iran will soon overcome this great pain and such losses. The State Bank of Vietnam, or SBV, on Thursday issued a decision to inspect compliance with policies and laws in gold trading activities of credit institutions and gold trading enterprises. The period subject to inspection spans from the beginning of 2020 to May 15th this year and encompasses adherence to legal regulations in gold trading, including anti-money laundering measures, accounting and invoicing practices, and tax declaration and fulfillment. Inspections may be extended to the time period before or after the specified period if deemed necessary. The inspection team will operate for 45 days. This decision aligns with the Prime Minister's dispatch on strengthening measures for gold market management. Currently, it is still the peak dry season in the Cheongsao or Spratly archipelago area. This year, the dry season is fiercer and longer than usual. Growing vegetables and raising livestock on the islands is fraught with difficulties. This task is even more difficult on rig houses. The following is a report about the spirit of the officers and soldiers of the DK-120 rig house in overcoming hardships.
It's been almost 7 months without rain, even in a place with no land, no fresh water, and at an altitude of 25 to 30 meters above sea level. The natural green color is still abundant. Peppers are still bearing fruit, porcelain plants still bloom. This result is not a coincidence.
We have fertilized and watered these pepper plants. Even if there are fish heads that we can't use up, we bury them, then they soak into the tree very well.
The vegetable garden at the DK1 rig house is carefully shielded to avoid strong ocean's waves, strong winds, and the scorching sun. Water use must be strictly followed.
In the dry season like this year, there is no rain yet. We have to use water very sparingly. For example, if we export about 20 liters, we must collect 10 liters for us to reduce. After we wash, we use that water to water the vegetables.
Currently, the soldiers here can also raise 4 pigs and 30 chickens. The pigs also often get seasick and thus skip meals.
The shaking on the rig house was unbearable. A pig couldn't stand on its feet. It shook so violently, it broke its hind leg. In 2017, a storm hit here. At that time, the rig house has just been completed. That was right in the eye of the storm. The storm destroyed all barns and warehouses.
The solar panel energy system installed on the roof of the rig house allows soldiers to complete tasks and activities, but it always needs repairing and maintenance because it is easily damaged by salty water vapor from the sea.
Here the sun and winds are fiercer, so the equipment brought down is easily damaged. The rig house is like a forward landmark of the fatherland. When there's electricity, the landmark lights up in the middle of the sea. It feels very sacred. I have worked on the rig houses for 15 years. I've been through all the rig houses. This rig house has been newly improved and upgraded.
In Phie province, a special store has gained a reputation due to its charitability. It is the Zero Vietnam Dome store, set up to help those going through difficulties and to share love in the community. More in the following.
4 days a week, Thien and other volunteers come to the store to accept and sort donated clothes, shoes, and other necessities. Each set of clothes is carefully classified and arranged onto these shelves. In the early afternoon, the store opens. The store's motto is, if you lack of anything, just come to take. If you have something to spare, just come to give.
I normally come here at midday and help start sorting things. I open the store at 1 p.m. People going through tough times come here and take what they need. The store closes at 3 p.m.
The Zero Vietnam Dong store has operated in Tuy Hoa for 4 months. It is run by the Phie Firefly Charity Group. It opens from 1 to 3 p.m. every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with many products for people to choose from. All products are contributed by benefactors. For poor people like Nguyen, the store is a great help.
I received 2 bags of rice and 2 sets of clothes. I thank the volunteers a lot. Thanks to them, I am fed every day.
Here we want to spread happiness to people, both donors and receivers. I would like people to think of this store as the store of happiness.
Every day, the store serves dozens of people experiencing hardships. They come and receive many different items. And here, both the recipient and the donors not only give each other objects, but also smiles, the smiles of happiness. Donors share with those in tough situations. As for the poor, their joy is multiplied because this sharing provides material help as well as encouragement.
Culture is the set of shared beliefs, values, customs, behaviors, and artifacts that define a group of people. It encompasses everything from language, religion, and traditions to art, music, and food. Therefore, culture is always passed down from generation to generation. To help their community thrive in an ever-changing society, Cơ Tu, Kazong, and Sedang ethnic group village elders in Quảng Nam province have made efforts to inspire young generations to bolster their local culture.
Village elder Yi Gong has devoted himself to preserving local culture and traditions of the Cơ Tu people for many years. With his skilled hands, he has made numerous musical instruments, passed down instrument-making techniques to young generations, and taught them how to play.
If we don't preserve our culture, young generations will lose their connection to the historical past, which can lead to a loss of identity and belonging.
To preserve Li singing, one of the traditional performing arts of the Cơ Tu people, village elders in Bờ Hồng village established a music club several years ago to provide young people with an insight into the historical and cultural values of this traditional performing art.
Village elders should pass down the local culture and traditions to young generation. That is the best way to inspire young people to preserve their cultural identity.
Gongs and drums are closely associated with the religious and cultural life of ethnic groups in Quảng Nam province. Musical instruments are valuable assets and integral to ethnic communities' spiritual lives.
I will continue passing on the local culture and traditions to younger generations. Village elders and adults should help young people understand cultural traditions, raising their awareness about the importance of cultural preservation.
Cultural heritage is one of the most precious assets of a community and best preserved within the community. Only when it is recognized will cultural heritage be safely protected and contribute to national development.
Digital travel platform Agoda on Thursday announced the top Asian destinations for European travelers, with Vietnam coming third on the list after Malaysia and Japan. The ranking was conducted based on accommodation searches. European countries with the highest number of searches for travel to Vietnam last month included France, Germany, the UK, the Netherlands, and Spain. The three most searched destinations in Vietnam by European tourists are Ho Chi Minh City in the south, Hoi An in the central province of Quảng Nam, and Nha Trang in the central province of Khánh Hòa. Offering a perfect blend of relaxation, adventure, and culture, they are ideal choices for travelers looking to enjoy their long summer vacation to the fullest. Coming up next on VTV News. U.S. announces details on higher China tariffs. And later on, UN chief continues to work towards two-state solution in solving Israeli-Palestinian issues. Now, moving on to our world news, trade relations between the world's two largest economies continue to fall into a spiral of retaliatory tax increases, causing concerns on both sides. The U.S. Trade Representative's office on Wednesday said some of the steep tariff increases on an array of Chinese imports, including electric vehicle batteries, computer chips, and medical products, will take effect on the 1st of August. The U.S. President Joe Biden will keep tariffs put in place by his Republican predecessor Donald Trump while ratcheting up others, including a quadrupling of EV duties to over 100% and doubling the duties on semiconductor tariffs to 50%. The new measures affect $18 billion in imported Chinese goods. In its latest response, China denounced the plan and vowed resolute measures to protect its interests. China has said the tariff measures are counterproductive and inflict harm on the U.S. and global economy. China on Thursday announced immediate military drills around the island of Taiwan, China. The exercises involving China's Army, Navy, Air, and Rocket Forces. A map released by the military showed drill zones in 5 areas surrounding the island of Taiwan, as well as outlying islands close to the Chinese coast. According to the Chinese military's Eastern Theater Command, the drills involve the integrated operation of its forces to test the actual combat capabilities, focusing on the seizure of comprehensive battlefield control, joint precision strikes on key targets, and the patrol of vessels and planes. The drills are being conducted in the Taiwan Strait to the north, south, and east of Taiwan Island, as well as around the island of Kinmen, Matsu, Wukyu, and Dongyin. The UN on Thursday noted Secretary-General Antonio Guterres' continued support for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Asked about Ireland, Norway, and Spain's decision to recognize a Palestinian state, UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric affirmed that the decisions made by those countries have been made as sovereign states. The Secretary-General will continue to work toward a two-state solution for the two states of Israel and Palestine, living side by side in peace and security, and to honor the right of self-determination of the Palestinians. The United Nations is urging the parties to reach a ceasefire agreement, facilitate the transport of humanitarian aid, and the immediate release of all hostages.
We said that the point of recognizing the state of
The Australia's Tropical Marine Research Agencies have deployed an underwater drone using AI to help survey the Great Barrier Reef as a widespread mass coral bleaching event unfolds across the huge structure. This in the midst of concerns that climate change would cause more frequent and severe marine heat waves, leading to shortened windows of recovery for corals from bleaching and other disturbances. More in the following.
The drone, called Hydrus, is allowing the Australian Institute of Marine Science to conduct more accurate and regular surveys of the impacts of climate change on the reef.
Yeah, so Hydrus is an underwater robot, and what we've tried to do is take the sort of idea of a drone that you would see in the aerial kind of quadcopter style space and take that underwater. And what you need to do to make a robot truly autonomous to work underwater, you have to start off with a really, really advanced navigation system to let that robot know where it is so it can go and do the tasks that you've set it to go and do.
The technology is being used by AIMS to build 3D maps of the reef that they can use to monitor the slightest change in the reef, be that growth or degradation. Hydrus uses photogrammetry to create 3D digital models of an area or structure by building up layers of 2D images.
Yeah, so we're working on coral mapping with the Australian Institute of Marine Science, and what they're trying to do is map areas of coral to detect change within those areas, which they can then use to extrapolate and model the entire reef. So they want to get very fine areas of detail of this coral, but they want to come back time and time again to track that change. One of the benefits of having a robotic system is that it goes back to that same location every single time, and it takes the same photo from the same orientation every single time, which is really, really difficult to achieve with a human diver.
Scientists expect many coral reefs to bleach this year, following months of record-breaking ocean heat fueled by fossil fuel-driven climate change and the El Niño climate pattern. While scientists are testing coral species for resilience, local communities are carrying out reef restoration projects to raise public awareness. But as global temperatures continue to rise, these efforts offer diminishing hope as they can do nothing to stop corals from dying in warm waters. Scientists say the world could lose up to 90% of its corals by 2050.
Up next, let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website, our YouTube channel, or download a mobile app, VTVgo, for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.